Okay, in this part of the video, we are continuing with the chapter called Dictionary in Python, but we will be concentrating on all the functions and methods of dictionary. Okay, now when you will be invoking functions of dictionary, then in that scenario, what syntax will we be using? We'll be writing the function name in bracket, the dictionary that I want to pass to that function or the dictionary object. But if you're using the methods, then in that scenario, you write the name of the dictionary object dot the method name and in bracket the parameters. This is the same even if we use list or tuples. If you're using a function, built-in function, which is present in the standard library, you just refer to it with the function name. But if you're ever using a method of a class, the class could be a dictionary or a list or a tuple or str, then in that scenario you must have realized you wrote the object dot the method name. So the same concept here. Clear? Okay, so let's start with our first function. The first function is called the len function. So what is the len function going to do? It's just going to tell me the number of elements in the dictionary. The number of elements represents each element represents a key value pair. So in this example, if you see, I have three elements. Key A with value 10, key B with value 20 and key C with value 30. So the len is going to give me three elements. So it has displayed the answer as 3 for me. Is that clear? Okay. Coming to the next function, which is the max and the min function. Now what does max and min do? Finds the smallest and the largest, okay? Or in this case, finds the largest and the smallest. But remember, our dictionary consists of two things, a key and a value. Is it going to find the largest key and the smallest key, or the largest value and the smallest value? It is going to be working with keys. So look at my example. I have a dictionary called student where the keys are Ruby, Ali, Ritesh, Tara. Probably that's the names of the students. And the values associated with them are 13, 12, 13 and 11. Probably it's their test marks, just assumption. So when I say max student, among the keys, T is the maximum. Now we have learned with strings, how do you do comparisons? We do comparisons with alphabetically. So T is obviously after R. So T is maximum. Not only that, the ASCII value of T, that's how the computer does basically, okay? The ASCII value of T will be greater than the ASCII value of R, okay? So it displays Tara, and when I'm talking about minimum, it displays Ali. Clear? Okay. Now coming to methods, okay? The first method that we are going to be learning is the key get method, okay? What is the get method taking? It takes two parameters. The key whose value you want to get, and what does n represent? Suppose you write a key that doesn't exist, then in that scenario, this function is going to return the value none. But in case you need this function to return something else instead of none, when the key is not present, then you specify n. N is put in square brackets just to represent that it is optional. So I have the first example here, d dot get b. So get me the value associated with the key b, and you know that we are getting the value 20. Then I wrote d dot get z, but z doesn't exist. So what is it returning? It's returning none. But if I had specified the second parameter here, what would happen? If this key doesn't exist, it will return the second parameter. So instead of returning none, can you see it has returned not found? Okay, fine. So let's go to the next function. It's called the items function. Now what does this function do? This function gives you the list of items in the dictionary. Now remember, the items in the dictionary is a key value pair. So basically it's giving me the list of key value pairs. Okay, but it returns to me as something called a dict underscore items object. Now since I'm not aware of how to deal with a dict underscore items object, what do? In my program, I convert it to a list. So here in the print statement, if you see, I have written list d dot items, which means these items, when you're picking it up, instead of dict underscore items type, convert it to a list, and you see that I have got all the items in a list. Now another interesting thing that I would want to show you here is the for loop. This is the most important part. All this while you wrote for one variable in d dot items, and that variable went through each and every element of what you have specified and displayed it. Okay, now because I know d dot items gives me each item consisting of the key as well as the value, I know that each element, there are two, I mean it's a pair of elements. So what do? I write two variables, ky dot val. So ky picks the first value in the pair, and val picks up the second value in the pair. And we have realized that the first value is always the key. So ky picks up the key and val picks up the value. And finally, when I say print ky comma val, it's showing me A10, B20, C30. I purposely did this example here for you, saying for you to know that we've been always using one variable in the for loop. We can use two variables if I know that the element that I'm going to traverse through, each element is a pair. You could use three variables if each element gives you three values, and so on. Clear? Okay, coming to the next function called pop and pop items. But before that, what is the purpose of both these functions? If you ever want to delete something from your list, from your dictionary, you could do it using the pop or the pop item. Now what's the difference between pop and pop item? In pop, you specify the key, okay? So that key and that value pair gets deleted. But in pop item, you don't specify what you want to delete. The last item in the dictionary gets deleted. So let's look at these examples here. I have written S is equal to D dot pop C. So when I write D dot pop C, okay, what will it do? It is going to be deleting the key value pair where the key is C and obviously the value is 30. But the deleted value is being returned to variable S. So S gets the value of what is being deleted. So when I say print S, it shows me 30. Now can you see an n parameter there? Suppose the key that you specified doesn't exist, something similar to the previous ones. Suppose the key that is X doesn't exist, then what does it do? Then it returns this key not found into variable S, and you're going to be printing that statement. Okay, coming to D dot pop item, if you realize here, I said X is equal to D dot pop item. So pop item, you're not specifying the key whose key value pair you want to delete. You just say pop item and it deletes the last element in the dictionary. What is the last element in the dictionary? C30 gets deleted. Is that clear? Okay, let's come to another function. Now here, instead of using the object to call the method, I am writing the name of the class itself. I've written dict dot from keys. Okay, reason being, this method lets me create a dictionary. So if it's creating a dictionary, I don't have a dictionary object already existing. That is the reason you did not use the dictionary object. Instead, you used the name of the class. Okay, now to understand this, let's look at the example here. I have a variable ky with a list of values, and this is what is going to be the keys of my newly created dictionary. I have a variable val with the value 0. Now, when I say dict dot from keys ky dot val, what is happening? I am creating a dictionary named as X. And what are the keys of the dictionary named as X? Whatever is specified by your first parameter. And each of those keys are going to get the same value, which is 0 in this particular example. If you do not specify any value, it creates a dictionary with the keys taken from the variable ky, but all the values will be none. Is that clear? Okay. Now coming to the function called copy. This function copies the value of one dictionary to another. Okay, but I would want to introduce you to something called shallow copy and deep copy. Okay, to understand that, let me just take you to the example. So I have a dictionary. Now what does D dot copy mean? I'm copying the contents of D into another dictionary called X. This is your shallow. Please excuse my handwriting. I'm trying to write with a mouse. This is a shallow copy. Whereas if you look at this line, the value of D is assigned to Y. Okay, that means what? You're copying, na? Kind of copying. When you say A is equal to 5 or A is equal to B, you're trying to copy, right? So here, whatever is in D is also given to Y. But this is called a deep copy. Okay, now let's understand the difference. Okay, here what did I do? I came to the dictionary and updated the value associated with the key called C. So what is happening is C in the dictionary D has now become 40. Okay, so when I say print D, obviously it displays 40 with the changed value. But when I display X, X was a shallow copy. It has already made a copy of D into X. So if you change D, it doesn't affect X at all. So X continued with its value of 30. Whereas Y was a deep copy. Deep copy means what? Actually, you are not giving a copy of D into Y. The same memory location where D is stored or D is referring to is also referred to by Y. So any change made to D is going to be seen in Y. Just to tell you with a small example, suppose this is your dictionary, okay? And it has all the key value pairs, okay? Now D is referring to this. And when you said X is equal to D dot copy, what is happening? X is getting a copy of the dictionary D. Okay, so X has its own, X is referring to a copy of the dictionary D. But when you say Y is equal to D, Y is referring to the same dictionary D. So if you make any change here, D as well as Y is going to notice the change, but X, because it has nothing to do with that memory location, it is not going to notice. Is that clear? So that's the difference between shallow copy and deep copy. Clear? Okay, let's go to the next function. Suppose you want to just get all the keys from the dictionary, whatever are the keys, you just want the list of all the keys. You make use of the keys function. And suppose you want to get the list of values from the dictionary, you make use of the values function. Now here also the keys function returns the keys as an object of DICT, dict underscore keys, and values function returns the answer as an object of dict underscore values. But we don't know how to handle these, so what do I do in my program? Very easy. I just say, turn it to a list. When you write list with some parameters, it says convert this to a list. So I got the list of keys and I get the list of values. Okay, next. These are the last two functions of our dictionary class. One is update and one is clear. Now what does update let us do? Suppose you have two dictionaries and you want to merge them. It allows us to merge them. But while merging, there is a possibility that, both the dictionaries have one or two keys which are similar. Then what happens? Because we have learned that in a dictionary, the key value can appear, one particular key can appear only once. Values can be repeated, but keys cannot be repeated. So let me just explain to you with the help of the example. So you have the first dictionary here with you. You have the second dictionary here with you. And please notice that both the dictionaries have the key called B. When I say D1.update D2, D1 is the dictionary that gets updated and or the D2's values get merged into D1. So D1 is going to get extended, but D1 already has a B of its own. Then what happens? Updation takes place. Because you are updating the value of D2, D2's B gets like a higher preference. Okay, so D2's B key is going to be put into D1 and D1's B key is going to be updated. Whereas C remained the same and A remained the same because A and C were not in D2 and D got added. So if you see, things are getting added also, and if there are similar keys, then it is getting updated as well. So when you write D1.update D2, D1's B value get updated with D2's B value. But suppose you had written D2.update D1, then it's the other way around. So here remember, after executing this, D1 has changed, but D2 hasn't changed. Another important thing, so isn't the dictionary growing, correct, and changing? Why? Because we have learned dictionaries are mutable. You can actually go and change the elements in that particular memory location, correct? Okay, and the last function that we need to do is the clear function. Even without me explaining, I'm sure you know what it does. It just clears the contents of the dictionary and makes it an empty dictionary. So if you look at the example there, you had a dictionary with some certain values. When you say d dot clear and then say print D, it just displays a empty dictionary. Now remember, it's not deleting the dictionary, it's just making it empty. If you need to make delete the dictionary, then you could make use of the keyword called del, as you see on screen here in the explanation, and you write the name of the dictionary. So you write del and then you write D, it would delete the entire dictionary. Then the dictionary doesn't exist. With clear, the dictionary exists, but the contents are cleared. Clear? So I hope the functions and the methods of dictionary is clear to you. Okay, we in the next video we will be talking about or doing some sample programs related to dictionary, where we'll be using some of these functions, so you know the exact usage of these functions into your program. Okay, bye, thank you.